you can't allow external forces to define who you are for you to find yourself. But you have to sit down and ask yourself, what fits? Size 32 fits, but here's me telling me that wear size 30 because it's going to be tighter.
Yeah.
Don't know who's talking into your life and know who's ridiculing your life.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Friday podcast, the maximum impact with nothing but the truth. It is a brilliant, brilliant day. And today, so we are sort of engaging the subject, mental health, a very, very critical subject that we need to touch base on. It's very important, and as you know, it's a topic that is really now taking, waves in such a times where it's been ignored and not been taken serious. But we've seen the effect of it, and we sort of, as KMC, thought to take a journey of, engaging it so that we are able to really, really delve much into the depths of it and get in a space where we are able to have comfortable conversation as general conversation, and we don't have any problem. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a wonderful guest, and that is Talent. So a very great person that is going to be engaged in the subject with us today. So I do have Talent on the line.
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
Really, really great to have you here today. I mean, bless us with your presence and coming to engage the subject, that is really, really taking waves out there. So, with us, Talent, but firstly, I would like you to share with us, your qualification as an individual, qualified to talk about this subject.
Definitely. So as you had said, my name is Talent Mashego. I am the mind detective, as I call myself. Well, so I graduate and I am a registered counselor, registered with the HPCSA, and I have my own practice called The Purpose of Legacies Counseling Services. And
brilliant, amazing. We're dealing with a subject, very sensitive subject. That is, touching souls, or rather people are challenged on a daily basis, particularly on the subject. And to sort of define, what is mental health in your view?
Okay, basically, well, if I have to go to the book, mental health will be this other big terminology that people wouldn't get. But what it actually entails is that it's a variety of who you are. It goes from your emotional state, your psychological state, your normal being, and how you actually connect or you learn from the community or the people around you. And this is where it goes to the fundamentals of your emotions and the way you think, the way you learn, how you take care of yourself or how you engage with the people around you. And after that, when you are engaging and doing all those things, it's like, how do you take it in? How do you express yourself within those emotions? And that's where mental health now comes in. It's basically everything about you and how you take it out or take it in.
100%. And I think most will definitely understand it from a perspective or when we define health, right?
Yes.
Particularly it's so much with health from a perspective of eating healthy, and keeping up healthy. And now we are off an idea of mental health,
Yes.
and I like how you put it now to us. And, and we've never really had time to focus or concentrate in building mental health such that we've been about, just moving with the flow, and people going never really cognizant or really paid attention to really build up mental health in that aspect. So that people are broken. You can name many things that people are going through. But however, I just want you to take us to the primary minor steps that one can actually take to sort of take a journey into building their mind to an angle of, or engaging into healthy activities that will just sort of ignite them.
Okay. Firstly, one thing you should understand about mental health, as you spoke about the healthy parts, how you take care of yourself. You should remember we are all having different body sizes or how we eat. Some people are allergic to some certain things, some are not. So just like mental health, right? Some people can take in, people shouting at them, and then some people can't take that. So everyone has their own way of dealing with problems or in how they prioritize what is important in their minds, or who are the people they can to or not talk to. To you, it might look like, if I'm talking to like a person who's called a playboy, it might be, no, man, you're ruining yourself. You're going to be associated with the wrong people and crowd and everything, right? But to me, it might be that thing of like, no, man, I want to fix this person. And initially at the end, this person becomes fixed and becomes a perfect person for me. Not saying that they be a partner, but a friend or a confidant in a certain way. So in so saying is that you should realize your potential, who you are, what is important. First, prioritize on like when you set goals, like I was talking about on Monday, like why people are judgmental. It's because you never work on self. You always want to bring people to define who you are. When you get to that point of being defined by other people, you'll never live up to your own standards of who you're supposed to be or your purpose as you know it. So when you know yourself and you start, practicing that this is me and this is where I want to be, no matter how hard or where I should be, it has to be like that. You understand? And then I believe, like, for example, for you, when you started KMC, it was that thing of like, it can be, what can people say? Will I make it? Is it even going to work? And all those things. It's just like the personal priority, like when you're working on yourself, right? If you can find those things, the reason why you need to find yourself and sticking to that, it will help you stick to your own lane and understanding your emotions. That's where, when you're understanding your emotions, is that thing of you are able to find yourself in places that when somebody tries to poke you, is that thing of like, what, this is not meant for me. I'm going to walk out from it. So that's the other part that you should do. And then find your coping mechanisms. Now, what are you resistant, or what can you take in? So it's a thing of knowing your strong points, your weaknesses also. That will help you that, what, when I go out there, I've got a mean boss, but what is my strength in this? Show out my creativity. And then in that, therefore, I'll impress the boss. If he's not impressed, it's not me. Understanding that human beings can be controlled by how you feel. People are in control of themselves. Therefore, you also have to be in control of yourself. In mental health, it's not all about, getting it all right at the same time. Today, I might be feeling good that I smiled because I saw water. And then tomorrow, the same water that I'm seeing can make me cry. You understand? So with mental health, you just have to find stability on like your emotions and knowing self, what works for you and what doesn't work for you. If you can get that one right, I believe so many things can be a bit easier. And the other part, the most important part that people think sometimes it doesn't work for them, support. If you don't have support, you feel like the whole world is practically so big and then you are an ant. You get it? So it's a thing, if you're finding your support, you know that, like right now when we're talking to your friend, it was a thing of, you can trust her and she can come through for you in dire times. So in that's why they say men should know when to talk, for example, right? Because men don't talk. It's that thing of, they don't know how to trust a person with their, big issues or their big burdens, because it's that thing of like, I'm a man, I'm supposed to be strong. You're a human being, you go through things. Therefore, you're supposed to have the support so that when things are really cracking and shaking up, that thing of like, if I go to talent or if I go to Mike, I know no matter what, I'll come back shining. You understand? So there are many things I can say about it, but those are some.
Of course, I mean, you're a qualified person. These are your subjects. But I think you stated something profound, particularly sort of quoting about a person knowing themselves, strengths and weaknesses, and also when you hear you touching base on authenticity and not really being somebody that you're not and pretending to be somebody you're not, because it's going to catch up with you. Things we grew up in certain places where culture also took part, and it's not really, doesn't really fit with our personality or the person that we are. And because of we understand certain way, we sort of become induced in them. For example, like this notion of men don't talk, and in Siberi we that says "Monna ulela ting, kingulela ting." Notions are culture based, and they're sort of in us, and and it becomes a reality. And for us to unlearn such practices and learn such realities, it's quite difficult. And we sometimes, to be honest, we feel it's Western things. We feel like we are not a part of those or the society. But I think the most important thing is actually the emphasis of authenticity and so you are able to grow and develop yourself in such aspects. So just I want you to touch base around a person discovering themselves, because how are they going to then be able to identify if they can't take ways of discovering themselves? So what would you say are the avenues that one needs to explore into for self-discovery so that they're able to deal with mental, keep their minds in health in that respect?
Okay. First of all, one thing you should realize and always keep in your head is that life is progressional, and everything that you think you're getting right today might be wrong tomorrow. You get it? It's just like, for example, relationships. You think today you have the best woman on earth, but you discover, nah, man, this girl ain't working for me. You understand? You move on to the next one. Were you wrong to actually find that this woman is not wrong, is wrong for you? No, you can't blame yourself, because that's what life does. On a daily basis, you are learning something about yourself. So one thing, as you said, like culture, we were born within culture. It's not something that we came in and then we said we're making this up, but we got here and it was already there. It's like you fell in the water of culture and then you have to get out wet. So how do you now then dry yourself and say, you know what, these are not my clothes and I'm putting them there? The thing is, some cultures, you can't just, bend them out and just say, nah, I'm going to live my life like this and all those things. But within that culture, find who you are. Finding who you are is find how you fit in there. Who are you in that culture? Does crying inside help you? No, it doesn't help you. So therefore, what is the best way for you to actually express yourself? Is that thing of like, okay, for me, what helps me to express myself as a man, if we're talking about that, it's that thing of like, if I can support my mom, or if I can work hard and stuff like that's expressing yourself, or if I can get the whole community working together, that's expressing yourself. What do we then know you for? Is that thing of like, no, May is the family man. May is this type of human who brings people together. That is you within the culture that actually defines men to be. You should be some strong human being who can carry the wood, carry the house in your hands and make sure everything is in order. So that is like finding yourself. Authenticity, man, that thing is hard. You can never. It's like saying to me that I have to be green when the world is red. How do I become that? Where do I even find the green in that? But is that thing of like, there are certain things in you when you just wake up, man, this isn't working for me. There are some inklings or the gut feelings that tell you that if I go this way, it doesn't work for me. But if I go this way, it works for me. Find your niche, find what works for you. And if you are expressing yourself, I cry, and then express yourself or normalize it even to the people around you that, okay, this is the person I am. And then after that, if you can't accept me for that, therefore you're not part of my crew. Because the problem is we want to bring in people who are going to cheer us in certain things that are wrong. And then now when we want to find ourselves in the right things, and then we're thinking people don't love us anymore. No, you actually faked yourself so much that you actually wanted them to cheer you in that wrong thing. And then now when you say, this is me, they're saying, now, that's not what we know. Therefore, we are walking our way. So finding yourself, it's a everyday thing. And when something goes wrong, don't say, no, maybe there's something wrong with me. I've done something. Don't blame yourself. One day you'll trip and fall, and then you realize, yes, I'm not going to take this road anymore. I'm going to take that, or I'm not going to walk with my head looking down. I'm going to walk with my head up. It helps me to see further there. You learn about yourself on a daily basis. Your emotional intelligence, your emotions. One day you'll be like, you know what, I'm strong. The other is like, Haibo, why am I crying so much? Things. And the thing that happens is that you have to know that there'll be the internal influences, which is yourself and your voices in your head, right? And there'll be external, influences. That is going to be the culture and the people around you. That now you have to find, I love pink. And even if May comes and tells me that, no, pink is white and red together, it's a thing of like, no, stick to your point and say, I love pink. Whether May loves white and pink and red, it doesn't make pink for me. You understand? So you can't allow external forces to define who you are for you to find yourself. But you have to sit down and ask yourself, what fits? Size 32 fits. But here's May telling me that wear size 30 because it's going to be tighter. Don't know who's talking into your life and know who's ridiculing your life. You understand? So it happens that in life we get things right, some we don't get them right. Progress, life, knowing yourself. Today I might think I know myself, but tomorrow can you please help me find myself? You understand? So yeah.
That note, I think you'll be touching very interesting points. On that note, I think do people who we define as rebellious and according to them as they define themselves, I'm like this and this makes me happy. And most of the time we don't find them, giving up on life because there are things that they define and are confident of who they are, irrespective of what the next person feel or think of them. They constantly go on for it because they feel like that's and according to the society as we define them, they are rebellious, they are outlaws, they don't listen, they're not obedient. We call them names and all of this, but they seem to be happy. They seem to be getting things in order, and doesn't comes as the pain of authenticity as it penetrates the society, and so sort of getting yourself healthy from a point of definition.
It does. It's painful because people always have a way of defining things or people. It's like you live by yourself and do some things by yourself. You're an outcast or you're a weirdo or there's something wrong with you. It's like there's a name for everything that we are doing. But let's look at the people who have made it in life or who are out there. Like I was talking about it yesterday, like Albert Einstein. Don't we look at him and say, this guy, something was cooking in his brain? But look at all the physics and the chemistry, whatever, all these things. They are all written Albert Einstein. You are learning about that crazy man. You understand? So I'd love to think that authenticity and looking after your mental health, you'll always look like you are crazy. There's something different about you. Nobody ever wants to look at something different. People always want to be grouped. They want to be in a belonging, like I'm groups Banbani, therefore this is how we should behave. You understand? But once you say I'm going to live like this, it's a thing of like, there's something wrong with you. Such people is because now, they are looking after their insecurities. It's like if I'm in a group, they're not going to see me, but they're going to be seeing the group. But once you stand out of the group, it's like you are there for us to just say, hit you hard. Like, no, it's not wrong. Why are you wearing a skirt with a jacket? There's something wrong with you. There just has to be something wrong with you. But look, a perfect example, like when you were talking about consistency in finding self, it's Denzel Washington, Steve Harvey, right? These people, they stayed consistent in what they wanted. People thought Steve Harvey wasn't funny. People thought Denzel Washington wasn't good in movies. But look at how we are praising these people today. They stayed out of the group. They stayed themselves. It's a thing of like, and this is the hardest part about being authentic. You have to know why you are there. You can't just say today I'm going to be authentic and then, understand what is authenticity for you. When you're sticking to what you're saying, is it something that is it going to work? Or is it something that you're just trying to, catch attention? Because some people, it's like, I want to stand out so that people can look me for attention. And then when the attention goes out, you also crumble. You understand?
Wow, brilliant. I like it. And to be honest, as you quoted the big giants, the American giants, and I think it's the power of consistency, particularly if you have found who you are and what you want to do, and you just become longer enough, you end up getting, because we've seen people become prominent people just because they were enough. If you just one idea for the longest time, it becomes a reality and we get to enjoy it. And I think it's one of the things as people we need to get around, that if I define myself in this, at any day I can't find myself in a space where I have to redefine myself because somebody feels I'm not properly arranged. I think that's where you start to become mentally strong. And more you are, the more healthier you are mentally. And therefore, you are able to substantiate. We are able to substantiate that now you're mentally healthy because you know what you are and what you are here for, and what do you think your purpose is. And you just focus on that. So I think it's this, all these attributes that makes up a person that once they are solid and strong about them, it's game healthy enough to can survive any challenge in life. You know what I mean?
True.
So,
True.
Thank you very much, Talent. You've shared an amazing piece of information, and I think this is the journey. Mental health is a subject that we ought to engage quite often, and I
definitely
you will honor our our. You're a very busy person on radio station, on your own practice, and continue to bless you as you assist us to become mentally strong and more healthy in that regard. And we wish you well, and we really appreciate you acknowledging our request to join us.
Thank you very much for actually inviting me here, and to, it's always the greatest thing to do when you know that I'm sharing information for other people to hear. It's not just for myself. So for KMT, thank you for the podcast, for making this platform for other people. So I really appreciate. Hopefully next time we'll meet on we'll be a greater group of people where we can talk about this and share ideas.
100%. Definitely do appreciate that, and definitely be a reality. Watch out for the next event of KMC that is coming. So surely you'll want so that we're going to be hosting as well in terms of the issues that are quite eminent in our society and ought to be discussed in that regard. So thank you very much for honoring our request. We really do appreciate your presence in this regard. So ladies and gentlemen, Friday podcast, Maximum Impact with Nothing But the Truth. That was Talent, registered counselor, who really assisted us to have, to just bring light pertaining to this subject, mental health. And we therefore still are going to host her again to really take it more deeper, as this was just the fundamental basic overview of this subject. Join us next week, Friday.